Hello, everyone. This is Vivian Stewart, one of your librarians, and welcome to my very short video on how to use our course reserves. So, of course, I am at our library's webpage. So, just in case you've never visited our page before, start out at the public website for the college, which is www.southwest.tn.edu. And then there is a blue bar across the top, and library is the third option. So there have been some miscommunications or misperceptions concerning our textbooks that have been placed in the library. So I want to clear some of that up and then give you just a very short demonstration of how to search for one. Course reserves is a term typically used in academic settings, and this term really designates materials that have been placed in the library to support a course, whether it is a textbook or some type of equipment or articles or various things like that. Anything that will help you learn the subject matter. And of course, textbooks is what students are looking for because you may not be able to afford your textbook, or there may be some lapse in between you being able to actually get it. So you would need to have access to make sure that you stay current in your course. Faculty members will bring in copies of a textbook and place it in our custody so that we can provide fair and equal access to the materials. We will not allow the items to be taken out of the library. We will make sure that one student can't come in and just use it over and over again to monopolize its use for an entire day. We will make sure that we have a system in place so that you can only use it for 2 hours. If you don't bring it back on time, you will be assessed fines for not bringing it back on time. And then we would just kind of monitor its use. And then at the end of the semester, typically a faculty member can come back in and pick their materials back up. Now, some students tend to think that because it says reserves, this means that you can call in and you can actually be placed on a list to receive the item and you could just come in and pick it up. Since the items do not belong to us, we will not allow any of the items to leave the library. That is why you can use them for 2 hours on site. You could even make copies out of the textbooks if you would like to, and the cost of copies is 10 cents per page. We caution you to observe all copyright regulations. You cannot print the entire book, okay? That is a violation of copyright. Okay, so now let's move to just see how you can find out if we actually have a copy of a book that you're looking for. Under frequently visited links, there is a link for course reserves. When I select it, it actually goes right into the module. There are two ways that you can search for information. You can search by course or you can search by an instructor. And personally, I think that you should always search by the course. There are times when the faculty member themselves may not bring in a copy of the textbook. So, whereas there may be a textbook coordinator or a department head, a work study student may actually bring in a copy to be placed on reserve, it may not be your instructor. So, whereas you're searching for your instructor, they may not be listed, but that doesn't mean that we do not have a copy of the textbook that you're looking for. Now, this is not set up so that you can actually search by the title, which for some students may not be the best choice. But when you search by course, at least you'll be able to find out if there is a copy of this book at a location that's more convenient for you. And we do not transfer these items from one location to the other. So let's start our search. Inside of my search box, and as you can see, I performed the search earlier for ENGL. Instead of searching for English 1010, I just want to search for all of the English course reserves that we have. It is not case sensitive, so you do not have to type anything in upper or all uppercase letters. So I simply typed in as a course ENGL, and it starts off with ENGL 0810, and it goes all the way through ENGL 2860. The column over to the right-hand side lets you know the total number of items within each course section that is actually set up. So if I want to start off with ENGL 1000, there are 3 instructors that are listed, and we're going to look at each one. I'm selecting the first instructor, and this is the actual course page. It provides you with the title of the item. It provides me with the author's name, and this is information that should be in your course syllabus. It lets me know which of our locations should have a copy of this. And then once again, it repeats the course ID, which we labeled as a call number. It is most important that you are aware of what edition of this that you should actually need. If I decided to select next, it just goes to the next record. I have my titles. One actually is a workbook. Once again, you have your author's name. The locations are provided. And then if I select the third record, and at the top, as you can see, it lets you know who is listed as the instructor. In this particular record, I can see that there is a copy at the Parish Library, one at the Maxine Smith Library, one at the Whitehaven Center Library. The other 2 were actually at the Bowen Bloom Library. Now, if I decided to select next again, what happens is that it went directly to English 1002. Now, this is what I want to make sure that you see. The first record was for English 1000, and this is the title of the same book that is being used for English 1002. So sometimes instructors may use the same textbook for different courses. Now, if you're not sure exactly if your instructor is actually doing that, would simply just reach out to a staff member for assistance. And we have another way to actually look it up so that we can be aware and we can kind of help you identify that. And there are 2 instructors that are actually listed for this particular course. And once again, if I decide to just go to next, it went directly to English 1010. And I have my titles listed, author's name, and all of these happen to be at the Whitehaven location. One of them is set at missing, which means the last time we searched for it, we could not find it. Now, even though something says missing, there is a possibility that it has been found since this missing status was placed on there. So I always just ask if the person would check to see if it is actually available. So anything that is available, you are able to use it for a 2-hour period on site only. Okay, I want to perform one last search because as you can see, it's very simple to use. So let's go to ACAD. I have 4 instructors and we would just look at each one. Okay, so this is your college experience. This is at the Maxine Smith location. And if by chance I selected the link here, it just gives you a different view of it, but it's still providing you with the same type of information. And we could just go through and look at all of the other records also. Now, I stated earlier that we may also have equipment and we may also have articles and various things like that. So I had said this was my last search, but I thought of one other thing I wanted to show you. I want to go to biology. And let's select biology. Let's do 2010. And let's go through these quickly because I'm not sure if this is actually the one. As you can see, these are manuals. Let me continue through. Okay, starting here, this is what I wanted you to see. Under this particular instructor's name, there are some anatomy parts that some students like using for A&P. So it tells you that we have the bones and we have the skull. It tells you which of the locations. So there are other locations that may have some of these anatomy parts too. A half of a head, the brain stems, and it identifies the locations and that these are available for you to actually use on site. So keep in mind that some of our collections only have textbooks. Some of them have textbooks and anatomy parts. Some may have some other type of equipments like microscopes that are available for your use. Okay, so it's very simple to use our course reserves. Just keep in mind that you can always ask for assistance, and any of our staff members will be happy to help you. So thank you all so much for joining me. I'm about to stop sharing my screen, and I hope that this has been helpful. Bye bye.